them AlleyCats. I-N-D-Y, we reppin' for the nap. I-N-D-Y, reppin' for them AlleyCats. I-N-D-Y, we reppin' for the nap. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Check the highlights if you wanna see the stats. Yeah.
Yo, I am the greatest Frisbee player of all time, you know.
Cooler than last week.
Basically means.
What a game last week. Holy moly. For those who missed it, Cardiac Cats do it again, come from behind. They wait until the very last few minutes of the game to finally come back and win by one. Scott, what do you take away as a former coach from a game that was really ugly all the way up to the end where the Cats pull it out?
Looking at it from a coaching perspective, even though it was an ugly game, you still come out of it saying, hey, we won. You do want to try to be positive, but you always want to look how to put it to them constructively on how to get better.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things where you're very happy that you won, and you just want to try to find what works. They're still struggling to kind of get back on track. You know, a couple weekends ago with the wedding and the poultry days, they just haven't seemed to really get back into the swing of things. So that's what they're still trying to do. Right now we're pretty much as healthy as we're going to be. Like we mentioned earlier, we're down Jason Yoder tonight.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, we're fully staffed. So just one of those games where you really hope that you can really get things on track to go to Detroit and then potentially go to Minnesota and get ready for the playoffs.
And you're missing Jason Yoder, who's been such a defensive captain on the conversions. He is a handler when the defense turns it around to go the other way. Very patient, very smart. But while he's gone into the playoffs, you do get Najee back on the defense. But more importantly, Ace Ventura's back and Kyle Cox is back. Two very important handlers that were sorely missed last week. Because you really saw Joey Carey, who's an excellent cutter, having to fall back and play a lot of the handling. How much did that constipate the offense last week when one of your main cutters has to fall back and be that safety net as handler?
Yeah, I mean, Joey Carey's really good at filling in behind Keenan and Cameron, or if he's a second cut, filling in behind Keenan.
Right.
So it really kind of throws a wrench in things. You know, they did the best that they could. You know, they're always going to put their best foot forward. But yeah, you much rather have Joey Carey upfield, just kind of using that lightning quick speed to just outrun everybody.
And even on the men, you saw Travis Carpenter, who played the majority. The first 75% of the game was all on offense, but then your coach had no other choice but put him on defense, because that's really what Travis made his bread and butter on defense. And you really saw him change the tempo of the game on defense. What does a guy like Travis Carpenter bring to the defensive side that can totally flip the pulse of a game?
Just looking at it from the defensive perspective, it almost brings like an extra security blanket, because you know that he's going to do a good job of shutting his guy down, or even if he's in the zone, he does a good job of talking to let guys know where people are on the offense and where they're at in the zone. So, you know, he takes on their number one cutter, and then that kind of trickles down to now your number two is on their number two and number three on number three. So it's a security blanket on the defensive end, and then if there's a turnover, he's excellent on the turn for offense. So it's just one of those things where you love to have him out there defensively whenever you can. You know, he helps out quite a bit on offense, so he's a double-edged sword right now. We want him to be healthy, and you know, this is about as healthy as he's going to be for a little while. Just keep on. He's going to want to be out on the field every point. We'll see what he does tonight.
And I'll say right now, the kid's the closest thing that Ultimate has to Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Literally, you could have put Deion Sanders in any position of football at a pro level, and he would have succeeded. Travis, he can catch, he can cut, he can be a holder or a handler. He can play anywhere on the defense, and he doesn't have a stop button.
Right.
The kid goes, whether he's 100% or if he's 50%, he's never going to stop until that final whistle. And I think we saw it last week. 9 days after surgery to get his tonsils out, he was going nonstop.
Yep.
He's a kid that's not going to pull himself out of the game. You know, he's one of those athletes where he might be convulsing on the ground, and then the coach has to actually come over and say, it's time for a rest, kid.
He had to come out because he had cramps in both of his calves as he was laying out.
Yeah,
so
he said. We caught him. Yeah, we caught him after the game. He said, before he even left the ground, both of his calves seized up, and like he knew that instant.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of it may have been from that medicine, because he said he never has cramped up in any kind of Ultimate game before, and in the shape he's in, I believe him.
Right. Yep.
And he's a very humble guy. He's not a guy that's spit out hyperbole like, oh, I used to bench 500 pounds. That's just not Travis. So we got 2:40 left to go. Scott, let me toss one more thing your way. Let's talk about the game today. Cincy, essentially the same roster that they brought last week. Last week we heard that they were missing a lot of guys, but looking at their lineup for this week, it's essentially the same. They got a few playmakers, a few former AlleyCats that caused us some trouble last week. Last week you called for a blowout, but this week we got 2 starters on offense back. We got 1 starter on defense, rotated out with 1 starter on defense. But more importantly, you got those 2 patient handlers back on offense. You're going to give a guy like Twan a lot more rest, who they were constantly dumping it off to Twan last week. It was like, there's nothing to do. We got to get it to Twan because there's no other mainstay handlers there. How different will this week be?
Just to backtrack, they do have Nate Body tonight. They are down Michael Ames, so you put in you take out 1 cutter for what Ames is playing. You take out 1 cutter and put in another one.
Right.
Nate Body is much more aggressive as far as hucks go. I'd say a little bit faster as far as cutting up field. But defensively, yeah, I mean, when Twan is your only offensive handler, he is your security blanket. He is the guy that you kind of have to dump it back to and really rely on. So you have Kyle Cox back to do that. And with Ace back, he's kind of your 3rd handler at that point. So having those 2 guys back is definitely going to be great. I'm going to stay away from predictions tonight. I'll keep it to AlleyCats win. They know that this is the lockup, a playoff spot. So they're going to do everything they have to pull out a win.
Magic numbers 1, AlleyCats can get their 3rd consecutive playoff berth tonight. One of the oldest, most successful franchises in the young AUDL. Always underrated, always outperforming what everybody else thinks. It's a beautiful night at Coons Stadium. We got about 30 seconds to go. Scott will be there. I'm going to be a lot more quiet, so you guys don't hear me in the background on the PA. Stick around, though. This is a game you don't want to miss.
Yep.
I-N-D-Y, reppin' for the AlleyCats. I-N-D-Y, we reppin' for the nap. I-N-D-Y, reppin' for the AlleyCats. I-N-D-Y, we reppin' for the nap. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Check the highlights if you wanna see the stats. Yeah.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Go to discstore.com for Ultimate Discs, jerseys, gloves, and everything Ultimate.
Goshen College students enjoy an amazing success record, and we have some impressive numbers to prove it. But stories of our graduates say even more, like developing a breakthrough antiviral drug for HIV/AIDS, writing #1 hits, being named one of Time Magazine's most influential people in the world for cancer research, and enjoying a broadcast career right out of college. They all started with a real-world education on a campus that makes everyone feel at home. See how the numbers add up and plan a visit at mygoshenhome.com.
Health Zone Chiropractic. Enter the zone of peak performance and all-around great health. Enjoy the quality of life you and your family deserve. Visit us online at healthzonechiropracticgeist.com. That's healthzonechiropracticgeist.com.
AlleyCats fans, tonight's magic number is 1. With an AlleyCat win tonight, your AlleyCats will clinch their 3rd consecutive playoff berth.
All right, and here we go, Scott. Welcome everyone to tonight's AUDL Midwest Division matchup between the Indianapolis AlleyCats and the Cincinnati Revolution. A replay of the game that happened last week, Saturday night, which turned out to be a 1-point thriller, a win by the AlleyCats. I'm Bert Phillips. With me, as always, is our master of all things ultimate, Scott O'Brien.
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah. So Scott, this is the final home game of the season. If the AlleyCats win this game, they're in the playoffs. What do you think?
We were talking about this a little bit pregame and kind of before we even went on the air for anything, just on the sideline. And you know, there's a lot of different scenarios that still have to happen to see where we play at, all the way up, including to, you know, if Chicago loses and you know, we have to win these next 3 games and we get the 2nd seed, and you know, Minnesota has to do this and this. So there's still a lot to speculate. You know, I think for now, just tonight, just to focus on really bringing things together, playing fluid, playing smooth, and really just trying to build, working your way up to the playoffs. And just, you know, you'll have a team next week in Detroit. You know, they've been out of the playoff race for a little bit, so really just another team to just try to build some momentum. You know, to where if you have to go to Minnesota, Minnesota has been a tough opponent for us, and really just want to make sure that you're peaking at the right time, ready to go to Minnesota to play a solid game.
Yeah, and yeah, the Minnesota trip is going to be a little bit tough. I don't think anybody really wants to do that, so we need to get that game, or get this game tonight, so that's not going to be an issue, at least in terms of getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it would be even worse if you have to travel all that way, not peaking at the right time, knowing that you're still struggling to get your offense or defense going.
So we're underway, and that was the pull from the AlleyCats. The Revolution will have the first attack, and we saw a good pull there, and Huffer just made a nice sliding catch. He's the guy who killed us last week.
Yeah, and you'll notice right away, Jared Payne has put Travis Carpenter on Huffer, just to try to get a better matchup on him, especially not starting out with zone. If you just go right to man, you kind of put the pressure on right away.
And that pressure worked right away as the AlleyCats force a turnover, and they're going to get their first break opportunity. They have to take it the full length of the field, but that's good to see.
Yeah, and they are down Jason Yoder, who's a big offensive handler for him. So you do get Najee back, which is good. Solid, consistent player for him. So hopefully things can smooth out tonight and just get some breaks. It'll be great to see this team really pick it up and pick up where they left off, you know, well a few weeks back when we were playing well.
Yeah, and Carpenter, it's great to see him on the D-line again. He's really a catalyst for them offensively.
Yeah, he's a good initial cutter, and then after that he's just got a motor that doesn't really slow down. So you know, with him having his surgery last week, or a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, he's pretty much back to being where he was. We'll just see if he goes defense and offense tonight.
And that pull, or that throw, sails deep out of bounds, and the AlleyCats again will have an opportunity for a break here. Two teams feeling each other out a little bit, I think, here at the beginning. A little bit sloppy, but that's kind of the way it always is on the first series of the game.
Yeah, your initial goal for the defense is to make the offense work. You know, at least try to force a turnover, do something like that. Your second goal is to get a turnover and at least try to look smooth on your defensive offense. And then obviously the main objective, your third goal, is to score a goal, you know, get a break. So anytime you can make the defense work, you know, if they don't have an easy score or it doesn't come off of a sequence, anything like that, you always want that to happen.
There's a huge pull from Carlton. And he's got a man. What a great catch. And there's Loskar.
There you go.
Loskar with the first score.
Yeah. Totally looked off Travis Carpenter to his right, but we'll take it. Anytime you can get a break, we'll go for it.
And this is a D-line that in the past couple of weeks has had trouble scoring, at least early on, and they get their first break right away.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier, and it's kind of almost when they started experimenting with Travis on the O-line was when the defense really got a little shaky. You know, Rick Gross was showing a lot of potential. Nick Hutton was doing great. And then once you pull Travis from there, Rick Gross started dealing with some stress fractures here and there, so it's kind of a trickle down as far as some guys really not being at 100% or your D-line not being at 100%. So
yeah,
it's great to see Travis back out there. Rick Gross is, you know, still trying to get healthy with some stress fractures here and there. I know he's getting better. But you know, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if they put on Levi Jacobs. They got Nate Page out there right now, which is good to see him. So hopefully, you know, this D-line can just get rolling.
You have Travis Carpenter back doing the pulls, doing the duties on the pull this week.
A little rusty, maybe.
Yeah. Puts that one straight out of bounds, but I'm sure he'll get that straightened out as the game moves on.
Strategic pull to set up their defense, I think, is what he's yelling right now.
So Cincinnati will take this at the brick. It's going to be Nick Wetzel who's going to handle this.
And right away, Travis Carpenter's on Nate Body, or Natus, as you might hear me refer to him as, just out of habit. So, former Mad Cow teammate. He's played with the Revolution in former Columbus Cranes. So, he's an AUDL vet. Just couldn't get the read there against Travis. So, I do want to give a quick shout out. His parents are watching. He did request that I do a shout out to Jeff and Kathy Body. So, great to see that you guys are watching. Your son is a very, very well-mannered young man.
You do get a lot of shout-out requests during the game.
Yeah.
Your phone is active quite frequently.
Oh, Nate Page.
Yeah, there's a drop from Nate Page.
Yeah.
This will be Cincinnati's first opportunity. They're going to have this deep in AlleyCat territory.
And we do have a solid defense out there, so let's hopefully we can hold them or at least make them work it.
There's Kula, gets it to Mack. Mack ahead to Hewells. Hewells dumps it back to Kula. Kula looking to swing it. He's got Converse. Converse sets up Wetzel. Wetzel to the sideline. There's Body right there. He's not looking toward the goal. He just dumps it. Wetzel double teamed. Gets it over the top. This is Converse. Across the field. Good defense by the AlleyCats so far. Revolution looking for a place to open up, and looks like they found it. And great diving catch.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I believe that was Body on the assist, right?
Yeah, Body with the forehand. He's got a fantastic flick. He's definitely came a long way with it, and he's notorious for having those. I'm not sure where he sits on the AUDL assist board, but he's up there. He's got a great forehand. He has no problem throwing it, that's for sure. I think sometimes he's just a little aggressive with it. But right there, threw it outside in, and is it Heiser or Anheuser? Outside in.
That would be an Anheuser.
Anheuser, all right.
That would be an Anheuser forehand, and that was Eddie Mack with the goal.
Eddie Mack, there you go.
So Cincinnati, just like they did last week, they come right back and tie it up. Last week, I don't know if you were watching, but it was hot and heavy. The two teams, I don't think they ever got farther than 3 points separated. Here's the pull from the Revolution. And that's a deep one. They had great pulls all week last week, and they're doing the same again this week. There's the catch from Twan. Twan gets it to Kyle Cox. Good to see Cox back in the lineup. And it's really important to have the handlers, the traditional handlers for the team back in action tonight. Twan gets it back to Cox. Cox finds Carey in his, I believe, his more comfortable position, I'm going to say.
Yeah, when he's able to just run circles around people, he's much more comfortable that way.
There's Plu. It looks like that might have gotten tipped, but he gets it ahead. There's DVE. DVE's got Plu in the end zone, and that was wide open. Great catch.
Yep. So it's nice to be back to your normal offense that you had kind of at the beginning of the season. Just between a couple off weekends here and there, you know, when you're down your handlers or even cutters upfield, you know, DVE having a shoulder injury, that really does throw a wrench in things. People don't think it's, you know, that big of a deal to just be down one guy or two guys, but you know, when you practice that way with those guys all the time and everyone's comfortable in their positions and you got to adjust to that, it does affect, you know, ever so slightly maybe, but it does affect how you cut upfield or even handler strikes, dump swings, those kind of things. It messes with all that. Yeah,
and it really did appear last week that Carey was a little bit uncomfortable being in the back.
Yeah, I mean, he'll do whatever you ask him to. It might not be his forte, but he'll do whatever you ask him to.
Here's the pull from Carpenter. Turns over a little bit and rolls. Comes down to Wetzel. Now on the far side, and they get it to Huffer. He was very dangerous last week. This comes back to Converse. Now to Cooley, swings it to Wetzel on the near side now. Wetzel with the left-handed return, gets it back. There's Mack, who came up the middle there, and they're being very patient to start this series. We saw the last series too. They worked it through their handlers as long as they needed to find an opening. Here's Converse. He gets it down the sideline. And that's Molenkamp. He's looking, he's got Kula breaking up the far side. He gets it back to Converse.
There's a good cover up there by Peter Carlton. Not left that lefty flick around to the break side. Luke Broderick couldn't catch up. Jeff Kula is definitely one of the harder matchups in the Midwest Division. You know, he's certainly not the fastest guy anymore, but he's just so seasoned. He's very shifty. He knows where he needs to be, when he needs to be there, and definitely a safety valve for those guys. He's got an awesome backhand break. Not afraid of contact, just to step right through you. So he's a very tough matchup. Jason Yoder had him all last week. With Yoder not being here this week, you know, either Luke Broderick's going to draw him or Stephen Najee, one of those guys is going to draw him. And you just got to do your job to make sure that you don't get broken. And he's going to find somebody going strike. So it's one of those things where you kind of just try to do your part, just to try to contain him and just see what can happen upfield for you.
Yeah, the first game we saw earlier this year in Cincinnati, we saw the Cincinnati team throwing hucks down the field pretty much the whole game. And this game last week was different, and so far this game it's been very different. They've been very patient, short throws, just working it easily down the field. Now Carey has it for the AlleyCats. He gets it to head to Plew. And Plew back to Carey. Carey swings it to Twan on the near side. Twan looking. He's going to have to dump that. Gets it back to Cox. Cox sends one to Ventura, and Ventura has to catch up with it. He centers it. Cox ahead to Carey. Carey has to go up and get that one. Now he's double teamed. Gets it over the top. Back to Twan here on the near side. It looks like Cincinnati's playing a little bit of a loose zone here.
Yeah, they're down numbers again, so we fully expected to see a zone. With our handlers back there, we're happy that they're going to throw that. Kind of lets everybody else relax a little bit, and we'll get
brought
another
to
score
Carey.
here.
Carey gets it to goes over the top. Oh, he catches up with it anyway. Great effort that time by Ventura. So that was Joey Carey with the assist. And the man who was missing last week, Ventura, gets his first goal.
He made it interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did.
He's not sure what to do if the disc is coming to him in the end zone. So.
Yeah, you don't see him. You don't see him get too many goals. So it's nice. Nice that he gets one. Yeah, he's nodding down there like he does it all the time.
Yeah, like he's been there before.
We are seeing the pink shoes tonight on Kyle Cox. Very attractive.
He'll be lucky if they last him half a season. He's notorious for blowing out cleats. So
here's the pull from Carpenter. He swings this out to the far side, and it comes back in. It hangs very nicely. It's picked up by Wetzel.
That's a good cover up on that pull. That's good hustle by the defense.
And they get it ahead to Mack. Mack returns it. There's Olsen. The big drive down the field. Molenkamp. Carlton got turned around. Molenkamp, he gets it ahead to Wetzel, and there's a score for the Revolution.
Yeah, somehow Peter Carlton got turned around. Not sure exactly what happened, but he should have that play. I mean, if you don't know where the disc is, at least try to go find the guy. He just kind of turned around and jumped. So, you know, Drew Shepard's not here this weekend. He's on his honeymoon, so Jared Payne's taking over the defensive side of calling lines and things like that. So that's normally where Drew Shepard would come in and say something, or Jason Yoder would say something to Peter Carlton. Peter Carlton's seasoned enough. He knows that he needs to have a better read on that. So I don't think there's anything that needs to be said. But
yeah.
again, you know, missing two key guys on the defensive side who are very, very good at talking with people, constructive criticism, trying to just let you know, hey, this is what I saw, and this is what needs to be done to fix it.
So with 5:39 to go, I'm sorry, 6:37 to go. It looks like the clock just changed as I said that. I'm not sure why. The score is tied 3-3, and the AlleyCats going to look to break that tie. And there's Brock coming up the middle, and Twan now has it. He gets it to Plu, and it's knocked away. And there's a turnover by the AlleyCats. That was a nice defensive play.
Yeah, it was a good drop-off.
So now the Revolution with their first break opportunity tonight. Deep in AlleyCats territory. And that's Nate Body, who's on the D-line now. Are they going to have a lot of players who are going to be going both ways tonight, do you think?
Yeah, you're going to have to. They have a game tomorrow night against Chicago. But they're playing to win, especially against Indianapolis. They're not going to want to let Indianapolis clinch a playoff spot against them.
So Cincinnati calls a timeout. They're going to get their O-line back on the field for this opportunity. And we're going to take that opportunity to step away, and we will return.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Did you know that Disc Store now prints full sublimation jerseys at the guaranteed lowest prices? Go to discstore.com for your next team or league order.
Health Zone Chiropractic. Enter the zone of peak performance and all-around great health. Enjoy the quality of life you and your family deserve. Visit us online at healthzonechiropracticgeist.com. That's Healthzone Chiropractic, GEIST.com.
So we're back with you, and Scott, I forgot to mention earlier, Keenan Plu got his first goal tonight.
Yeah, it's odd. What's he doing catching goals?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Last week he had 9 assists and no goals. Tonight he has 1 goal and no assists. So it's good to see him score. He's a guy that generally gives you a lot of balance. He can score well, gets a lot of assists, makes those cuts up the middle and then turns on it very nicely. And he's a lot of the times the one who breaks down the defense. So it's good to see him be able to get a goal early on.
Yeah, with our handlers being back, it's going to take a little bit of pressure off to him to be the reset or to push the disc up the field. So you'll probably see him be a little more traditional as far as throwing and catching goals as opposed to just throwing them.
Yeah, it's funny because, typically the guys who score a lot, like Brock, for example, or Plu or Carey, you notice when they're missing, but when you have those handlers who are typically on the back line, they don't get called a lot. And there's a steal from Carpenter. Now he's got it. He's got Gross streaking down the side. He wanted to go deep to him, but
he directed traffic there. That was a good callback.
That was a good run by Gross. Now Carpenter has it back. He sends it back to Haichu. Haichu swings it. Now Broderick on the near side with the flick. There's a great catch. Great save by Hutton. Hutton looking. He's got about 10 yards to the goal, and he's got a man. There's Carpenter. Very sneaky, right up to the corner.
That was getting to be almost a stall 6th or 7th throw there, so I'm glad he got that break off. And again, that's already, 2 breaks in this first quarter, so it's a good start. Just need to really keep the pressure on and really try to pull away early. I was really wanting that to happen last week, and it just never came to fruition. So we'll see what happens. Pre-game, I didn't make any predictions as far as score goes because I think I'm putting the jinx on us. So bottom line, I'm just saying AlleyCats are going to win. I'm not going to give a point diff or anything like that. So as long as defense keeps showing up, keeps playing hard, this should turn in our favor.
So with 5:13 to go now, the AlleyCats push it up 4-3. That was Nick Hutton's 2nd assist of the night. So on both of the breaks, he's been the one to punch it in. And, of course, that was the first goal by Travis Carpenter. And Carpenter now with the pull, gets the roller down again. And Wetzel scoops it. And the Revolution send it to the far side. And there's Huffer. Huffer comes up the middle. He's got a loose double team there. Gets it back to Converse. Converse centers it. They swing it to Wetzel on the near side now. And they work it down the sideline. There's Knight. We haven't seen him yet tonight, but he had a good game last week. Now Huffer, again with the double team, gets one over the top. And Gross looking for that opportunity, but couldn't quite get there. Now Kula gets it ahead. And Converse.
Revolution doing a fantastic job moving the disc.
Yeah, they really are taking those short throws and not taking too many chances so far. And that's what they have to do when they're missing a lot of players.
Yeah, as long as they keep it moving, it doesn't allow the defense to really adjust or set up a good mark. So you'll see a lot of these break throws getting off. And AlleyCats need to do a better job of getting around, forcing it back and getting it back to the fore side.
So now Knight has it. He's looking for that forehand. And there's Wetzel. There's Molenkamp. He gets it to Converse. And there's the tie. 4-4 now with 4:05 to go in the first period. And the Revolution staying right in there.
Yeah, defensively you made them work. You know, they definitely were working the short throw, kind of strike, or give and go. Which we really don't see that a whole lot from them, but it obviously worked. Defensively, I don't think the AlleyCats were really ready for something like that. So look for the AlleyCats maybe next point to come out in the zone, just to throw them off, and then probably transition to man after that.
That was Molenkamp's second assist of the night. He's another player who punished us quite a bit last week. Mostly on the other end of it, though. He had a lot of goals last week, but this week he's got 2 assists to go with the 4 goals that the Revolution scored. So now the Revolution going to pull, and this is
Alex Hewells.
Yeah,
has some monster pulls tonight.
Yeah, he had some
last game.
Fantastic pulls last week, and he's doing it again tonight. Actually, this one's going to sail out of bounds.
Announcer jinx, we like it.
Yeah, so you need to do that to the other team. Yeah. So the AlleyCats are going to start this at the brick. They're going to have good field position now. They're going to try and punch this ahead again as these two teams trade punches. Like we said, they did this all last week. Of course, the AlleyCats unable to get a lot of breaks last week, and they've gotten 2 already tonight, so that's a good sign. And Cox gets it to Carey. Carey quickly to Brock on the on the sideline. Back to Cox. He gets it to Twan. Twan swings it to Ventura, who gets it to Plu, almost knocked away there. They bring it to Cox. Cox looking to send it ahead, and he does. And Plu finds Brock. Brock's got Carey. Didn't see him at first, but there he does. Carey right on the goal line. Brock looking to come up. He's covered, but there's Cox right behind. Cox with a good follow-up.
Yeah, with Cincinnati only having 15, 16 guys tonight, you know, they're going to have to run zone to try to slow the AlleyCats down. With that many people, you're not going to be able to keep up with Joey Carey, Cameron Brock, Keenan Plu. So that zone, they're going to have to find something else, because just with our handlers being back, that zone's going to be way too easy, especially for you know, for our guys. If they have a throw, anything to go over the top, hammer or scuba, they're going to have that all night. So there's just not enough wind to prevent any kind of throw like that. So we'll see, you know, what they're going to try to do. They're going to have to mix up their zone a little bit, try to be a little bit more aggressive, try to get us one of their wings or somebody to try to come in for a layout somewhere. But just trying to have the AlleyCats turn it over by just throwing it back and forth so far is not working.
Yeah, and you can see in that situation the kind of attention that Brock draws. Because he came through there, and Kyle was just able to come right in his wake and get an easy score.
And he got all those goals last week with the zone on. So
yeah, I believe he had 9 goals last week, so he had a big game. So now Converse has it for the Revolution, and they're back in their goal. And once again, they're being very patient with it.
Yeah, and Jared Payne doing a good job switching it up. Last point, they were doing a lot of throw and goes. He said, we'll put a stop to that. We'll throw a little bit of the zone. Probably midfield. At some point, they'll transition to man, I would assume.
Now the Revolution flattening out their offense here to deal with this. There's Wetzel. Gets that lefty backhand across to Kula. Kula with the forehand up the middle. Now Wetzel fakes the pull. Here's Olsen with it. Olsen wants the forehand. Good mark by Laskar there. Kula has it back.
There's that backhand break by Kula.
Yeah, that was nice. He went to the ground to get that one across. Now Wetzel looking. There's the effort by Laskar. Can't quite get there. Now Huffer. Now the Revolution with the opportunity. And Wetzel's got it, and he's in. So once again, the game tied up. This first quarter, nobody able to step away from the other team, and it's 5-5 now.
Yeah, and once AlleyCats transitioned to man, Kula got that backhand break off that, I don't want to say completely opened things up, but certainly gave him a little bit more breathing room. Once he got it over here to the break side, kind of opened up things to get it to Huffer, and then Huffer put it up to Wetzel. And especially with Wetzel coming back from the handler spot, that was a good cut.
That's Wetzel's second goal of the night. Huffer gets his first assist to go with 1 goal. So Wetzel, I don't believe he was with the team last week, was he? I don't remember calling his name.
I don't remember calling his name, no.
Here's another bomb from Hewells. That one a little bit high. Looks like the AlleyCats are going to get a bit of a better opportunity here as it comes down to Cox. On the near side in the corner, swings it to Twan. Twan gets it ahead nicely to Plew, and that's where you want to see Plew with it. Twan sends it to Cox. Gets it to Carey on the sideline. Carey looking. He's got Brock. Brock with the forehand cocked. Dumps it back to DVE. Swings it. There's Ventura with it. Gets it to Twan. Twan with the big backhand. Oh, he's got Plew. Broke away there.
Oh.
And it goes out. So nice effort from Plew. Was a good look, but Twan unable to swing that backhand back in. And see, that would be a Heiser line.
Heiser line.
So now the Revolution with their first opportunity, or I'm sorry, their second opportunity for a break, I believe, tonight.
And with 1:20 or so on the clock, we'll see what Cincinnati does to try to work it up the field. And now about a minute left. There's plenty of time to work it up the field. See if anybody gets anxious, throws one a little early.
Yeah, and the last time they had a break opportunity, they called the timeout. With a minute left to go here, it'll be interesting to see how they're able to work it down the field. Here's Body with it. He gets a big forehand across. That's a nice throw, but it is knocked away.
I think there was a stall back here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a great double team by David Valentine Elam to get there.
Regardless, though, that was a great effort by Twan. I just want to point that out.
You don't see that kind of effort from offensive handlers that go out there for the disc. So.
That's right. He's a guy. He'll put one on you if he has the opportunity.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Now Twan's going to pick it up on the near sideline. Gets it back to Cox. And Cox recycles. And they get it to Plew. Plew has that forehand. Brock quickly able to catch up with that. He gets it back to Twan in the middle. Twan immediately with the forehand, and there's Plew in the corner. Perfect throw that time.
Yeah, he found that quick release forehand there. Didn't even plant his right foot to get it down. So, great sense of time there. Only 8 seconds left. Certainly enough to get a couple throws in before you put up a huff. But this will be big because we get this stop here. Hold them before the quarter. It almost seems like every game or every couple games, there's always a time where the other team scores right at the end of the quarter or right at the end of the half. So this would be big if we can get a break or at least get a stop here.
Yeah, so 8 seconds to go. That's probably a pretty good opportunity to get us a stop. And the AlleyCats with the 1-point lead now, 6-5. And we have a good crowd here tonight. I just want to point out that it's Fan Appreciation Night, and we have a really nice crowd tonight. Here's the pole now. It's low. It's from Hutton, and he keeps it on the ground. And did he do that on purpose to allow the defense to get set? Can I say that?
I hope not. I mean, because essentially you give him the disc at almost midfield. You can still get a big backhand pull off to let your defense set up.
And there it is, and it's over the top. And they had the opportunity, but they weren't in the goal anyway. If you'd caught that, it wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you want to get a big backhand that's going to hang up for you, and just have your defensive handlers bust down there to cover it up. It did give them an opportunity to set the double team, which was great. But typically, you'll try to get a roller towards the sideline to do that.
Yeah.
Jonathan Goose Helton's really good at getting those set on the sideline to set a double team. So To the center of the field, not so much, but we'll say he meant to do that.
Yeah, okay. 8 seconds left. We can forgive him for that.
Sure.
So now the AlleyCats, they have a 1-point lead after that tight first quarter, back and forth the entire time. But they have the opportunity, I believe, going into the second period now. They're going to get the disc first, I think. So they can break this open to 2, hopefully. We're going to take a quick break, and we will return for the second quarter.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Order a custom Ultimate Disc with no minimum quantity with any design you can imagine. Go to DiscStore.com to get started.
Goshen College. Everyone's at home here. Students from around the world and down the street find inspiration and lifelong friends in our unique, supportive community right here in Northern Indiana. Cutting-edge academics, real-world learning, and small personalized classes make the difference. All surrounded by world-class culture and championship sports. Most importantly, it all leads to a record of amazing outcomes in diverse fields of study, from pre-med to social work, broadcasting to accounting. You're going to feel at home on our campus. Visit us at mygoshenhome.com. Goshen
Health Zone Chiropractic, a family wellness center, where chiropractic is for kids, and adults too. Be proactive with your family's health and wellness. Visit us online at healthzonechiropracticgeist.com. That's Health Zone Chiropractic, GEIST.com.
So we're back with you now for the second period. AlleyCats with a 1-point lead, 6-5. Give us a little bit of a breakdown of that first period. Did that go how you expected?
Yeah, I mean, I guess given the previous game and just kind of how the AlleyCats have been performing, yeah, I think it's about on par. I mean, I think with everyone being back aside from Jason Yoder, you would like to see there be a little bit more of a difference in the favor of the AlleyCats. But it was good. Our defense is alive. Our offense is doing very well. Body language on the sideline seems to be positive. So, yeah. Obviously, you'd like to see a couple more breaks here or there, but I think everyone's doing, about what's expected at this point.
So now the AlleyCats are going to get it first here in the second period, and that comes down to Ventura. It's good to see him taking those pulls once again. He's got it on the far side and returns it to Twan. Twan gets it across to Cox. Quickly to carry ahead to Plew now. They're going to work this down the sideline. And they cross midfield, and there's Plew. He gets it back to Cox. Swings it a little bit deep to Ventura. He gets it back. Now Twan ahead to carry. Facing a double team, gets it back to Cox. Cox is going to work it to the near side to Twan. And the AlleyCats being patient. Now Twan has it. He's got a man. There's Plew. Plew's got Carey. Carey looking for Brock, and there's Plew right in the corner. Great play.
Cameron Brock did a fantastic job of just keeping the monster occupied, keeping Alex Shields back there occupied.
Yeah.
While Keenan and Joey Carey were just kind of running circles around the wings there. So it was very, Cameron Brock, he's not going to get any credit for that point. Nothing's going to go in the stat book, but he was one of the reasons why the AlleyCats were able to just work that left and right.
Yeah, and you watch him, it's interesting. He always absorbs at least one, sometimes two players, and they always know where he is, and a lot of times that gives other players on the team the opportunity to come up underneath, and you saw it again there.
Yeah.
And that was Keenan Plew's third goal of the game to go with Joey Carey's third assist. So they're kind of working that Plew-Brock angle from last week, and Brock is being left out in the cold now. He's doing a lot of work here, but he's not getting the results, but that's okay.
It'll open up, I'm sure.
So now the Revolution come back with it. They're down by 2 now, 7-5, with 11 minutes to go here in the second period. They're going to see if they can cut this to 1. Here's Wetzel with it. It swings now to Converse. Faces a double team. And there's great effort by Gross. Comes down on that shoulder. There's Converse. Gets it to Kula in the middle. He swings it to the far side. There's Olsen. Quickly back to Wetzel. Wetzel wants that forehand down the sideline. Gets it to Olsen. That was close. Oskar was all over that. Now Olsen is in trouble, gets the backhand out. And there's Butler. He goes up and it's caught. That was a great effort by Butler.
And this is another stall 6-ish throw right there that we just put it up. And that was actually intended for Kula going up the line, and it just so happened to get tipped by Dan Butler, and Kula came down with it.
So great effort by Butler that time, but he doesn't get the result he wanted. And that was Jeff Kula's first goal, and I believe that was Kane Olsen who threw that, right?
Olsen, yep. Yeah, so almost our second stall in the first half. So would have been great to get that call that way and negate that negate that score and then potentially get another break here. But it always seems like every game that happens. They get one where it just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and that disc, it doesn't come down quickly. So
not quick enough.
Yeah, you gotta get a couple guys on that. So 7-6 now. Revolution gonna pull, and here's Hewells. He puts one high again. This one turns over a little bit, comes down short. There's Ventura. He gets it to Twan. Twan sends it back. Cox has to come up and get that from Ventura. He gets it to Carey. Carey had to Plew, and now they get it to Brock. Brock back to Plew. There's Cox with it now. Looking for that forehand. He's got Carey. Carey with a nice backhand back to DVE. Great play. And there's Twan in the end zone, and he spins it out. Great catch. So DVE to Twan. Don't say that too often.
Yeah, so Twan catching goals, Ventura catching goals. Cameron Brock still blanked. So
That's right.
He's going to say something to him at halftime, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, all three of our handlers have goals now. So they push it back up to 8-6. The AlleyCats back up by 2 points with 10 minutes to go here in the second period.
And this is where I'd be really pushing for our D-line to get a break. It was a very big point. Put you up 9-6. Obviously still plenty of time in this second half to make that move. But once you get up 2 or 3, I think the Revolution might go back to their old tactics to where they start getting a little panicky, start forcing things, and that's when it could really open the floodgates for you. So if I was out there right now, I'd be yelling and screaming at these guys to get this break, just to put more pressure on the Revolution.
Yeah, and they're on it. You can see Najee coming down quickly. He's on Kula now. Here's Huffer. Huffer with the big huck. And like you said, there's Gross. He's all over that. Great catch by Gross. He takes it away and gets it to Carpenter. So just like you said, they take that opportunity to get a break right when the Revolution put up an ill-advised huck.
Yeah, and I'd say if the D-line starts struggling here, getting a little congested, look for Jared Payne to maybe call a timeout, get his offense in there.
Fantastic save that time by Hutton.
The pancake layout.
Now Carlton with it. Gets that forehand, gets it to Broderick, and Broderick hits Kula right in the leg. He had a man, he had Gross in the corner, I believe.
Yeah, that needs to be fake forehand, go to the backhand break, and just put it out to space.
So Broderick a little too quick with it and misses an opportunity to push this up to 3 now. And the Revolution going to bring it back the other way. Here's Kula with it on the far side.
If the AlleyCats get the disc back, Jared Payne will call a timeout, almost guaranteed.
We'll keep an eye on that. Now Olsen with it. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Olsen gets a flick ahead. There's Wetzel with the fake. He puts one back over the top, and it's turned over.
Okay, maybe with the disc this close to the goal line,
yeah, right.
they won't call it.
I won't put that one on you.
Jared Payne is running right next to the referee, though.
And there's Cheek, and they put it on the ground immediately. Another opportunity missed there. Najee unable to come up with that one, a little bit low. So now the Revolution taking their time to pick that one. And they get it to the near side. Here's Converse. Converse waiting. There's a great,
there you go.
Fantastic layout by Hutton. And this is a long point already. We've had 3 turnovers. Sorry, 5 turnovers total. 3 turnovers for the Revolution. And there's the timeout. Have you coached before?
I've coached once or twice, and I have played with or for Jared Payne for many years.
So those who don't know, who might be listening to this, Scott was the head coach of the AlleyCats last year. So that's how he's able to bring us such amazing insight. week to week. So now with just under 8 minutes to go, the AlleyCats ahead by 2 points still, 8-6, and they're going to see if they can push that up to 9 when we return.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Go to DiscStore.com for Ultimate Discs, jerseys, gloves, and everything Ultimate.
Goshen students enjoy an amazing record of success. What's the secret? It starts with hands-on learning experiences. Whether it's a service project in Peru, a sustainability semester at our Environmental Learning Center, or broadcasting for our award-winning radio station,
it adds up to life-changing perspectives and real-world skill development that makes a difference to future employers.
And it's all available at a campus that makes everyone feel at home. Come hang out with us and see for yourself. Go to mygoshenhome.com to arrange a visit.
So 7:56 to go here in the second period. AlleyCats up 8-6. And they have an opportunity here with the disc on the sideline, about midfield. Twan's going to tap this in, facing a double team. He's got Cox and Ventura. He's probably going to get this to Ventura, who's open right in front of him. Oh, nope, he swings it to Plu. And Plu goes up and gets it. Plu sends that to Carey on the far side. Carey gets it ahead to DVE. David Valentine Elam for the uninitiated, and he puts it into the end zone. And there's nobody there, no green shirts. I think he thought Brock was going to make that cut, and Brock was looking for something else. So the AlleyCats, they've had 3 shots, I believe, maybe 4, to get that 9th point, and they haven't been able to do it so far. We'll see what the Revolution can do now. They're going to look to... And immediately bomb one down the field, and this one's going to work. That's Hewells who comes down with it. And he needs someone to follow up. He gets it back. And over the top to Kula. That's Jeff Kula's brother, who works on the D-line, and he's got a man.
So Nate Body wasting no time tapping that in. I'm not sure David Valentine Elam was even set defensively to be ready for that. So he saw Hewells taking off, and you know, that's probably a good 65 to 70 yard flick.
Yeah, that was a monster.
With a slight, probably slightly upwind. So he's got that. And as I said earlier, if Revolution start getting down, he's going to look to put it. He has the capability to do it. He's shooting 100% right now on that.
Yeah, he saw the opportunity. It looked like the AlleyCats were sleeping a little bit there, and he smashed that. So you have to credit the Revolution for that score. That was a great throw. And that was Kevin Kula, number 24, who had that assist. So here's the pull now. And it comes down out of bounds. So once again, the AlleyCats will have a decent field position to start this point. We're going to see if they can get this back up to 2 now. And that was Joe Moslem for the Revolution who got that last goal. Here, Twan on the brick, and we have contact. He gets it back to Ventura. Twan directing traffic. He goes with the hammer to Carpenter. Carpenter on the O-line now. Perfect throw. Oh, he catches it. What a fantastic catch. Sliding on the knees. Gets the goal. That's Keenan Plu. Deep from Travis Carpenter.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There must have been some miscommunication because you don't let Keenan Plu get wide open like that. Travis Carpenter almost had Keenan Plu too wide open, and
he put some heat on that.
He wasn't sure what to do, so he said, "I'm just going to throw it on the line."
Keenan Plu able to go get that. He can get a lot of things. He's not going to miss too many of those. He gets his 4th goal of the night, and you can tell how the offense is working completely differently tonight. He's got no assists and 4 goals tonight, and last week he had 9 assists and no goals. So it's a thing of beauty to see this offense back in its original flow. So now the AlleyCats are going to pull, and this is going to be Carlton, I believe, with the pull. Let's see what he can do with this. He gets a nice one out there. Comes down on the far side. There's Kula with it in the center. He gets it ahead. And this is Mac with a little bit of a floppy forehand.
I think Nate Page got a finger on it.
I think so. Here's Molenkamp. Fakes it deep, gets it ahead to Huffer. And we have we don't see Mike Ames out on the field tonight. He had a good game last week. And,
yeah, it is my understanding he's at a wedding tonight.
So many weddings.
Yeah, tis the season. And they're also down Mike Ford, a former AlleyCat last year.
That's right. Yeah, he's another guy who had a great game for him last week.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just kind of how things go. You know, you're going to miss some guys here or there. Just unfortunately for them, they're missing 2 guys who are very good with the disc.
And that was an opportunity just missed there by Molenkamp. He had a run at that, unable to lay out and get that. So now Broderick's going to pick this up and tap it in. Yeah, you have to be impressed with the Revolution. They've been able to stick in there these past 2 weeks, missing a lot of guys, key guys that played last week, obviously, and aren't playing this week. And you know they don't have a lot of continuity with their team, but they're staying in there.
Yeah, and it's only going to compound things to make things worse tomorrow night when they go to Chicago, because you have a game tonight, so you're going to be tired from tonight, and you're short guys anyways, and you still got to travel to Chicago, so it's a rough road trip for him right now.
Yeah, that is a tough one. So here's Loskar, gets it up, and Carlton underneath it, he's got it. Great catch. Carlton having to look over his shoulder that whole time, he catches up with it, and that's not easy.
Yeah, that's a tough read when it's right over your head.
Yeah.
You know, with a forehand, if they put enough flick on it and they throw it outside in, you know, it's going to go back to your left shoulder, but if they don't have enough flick on it and it ends up being eaten up by the wind or whatnot, it's going to tail off to your right. So it is a tough read, and you know that if Loskar's putting them up, we're going to be looking good for tonight.
That's right. So Loskar gets his first assist tonight. He has 1 goal as well, and that was Carlton's first goal.
All right, AlleyCats fans, Green Monster's coming down. He's got a free will change from Iowa Norman Indy Hyundai.
I think if we can get another break right here, this will be huge. That'll put us up 11-7. Really kind of put us in the area where, you know, I don't want to say it's getting out of hand. It's obviously still early in the game, but the Revolution are going to have to work on things, find something that's going to work for them, because the AlleyCats defense is on point tonight.
Yeah, so that was an important break for the AlleyCats. Once you push that lead up to 3, then the other team starts to think about it a little bit. And we have Carpenter on the D line again now, and he was the one who did that pull. And it looks like that one was tipped. Gets it over the top, though, to Kula. Kula ahead to Olsen. Olsen with the forehand. There's Body. Body with a big flick. And knocked away.
Yep. Yeah, Nate Body got caught hanging that up there. He had a lot of space to put it there, but Levi Jacobs got great position there. Very athletic young man, at 19 years old, going to go play for Team USA. Hopefully over in Italy if we can raise some more money for him. But definitely somebody his age, you usually don't see that kind of play as far as them getting position and going up for it and timing it just right.
Yeah, I mean, that was perfect timing from Jacobs that time. Now he has it here on offense.
And he's backhandling.
Yeah, he's very quick with the disc, too. You love to see the way he throws that. And there's a bomb from Cheek. It comes down with Hutton. Hutton goes up and gets that with 2 hands and just swipes it.
Yeah, Revolution are going to need a timeout here.
That was a perfect throw from Jason Cheek. He spent a lot of time on the O-line last week.
Yeah, he did, and he worked out with us a lot last year on the practice squad, and I forget if he had shin splints or an ankle injury or knee injury, but you know, he was around, and he definitely wanted to be a part of the team, and just wasn't able to commit the time for it. So we love to see him out here. That was a money backhand. That came off really smooth.
Yeah.
You know, for a guy who's on the D-line, quote-unquote, air quotes there, on the D-line, that's a great throw.
Yeah, he covers half the field, and Hutton went up like a man and got that.
Yeah, you got to – I taught a lot of guys last year, you got to rip the disc out of the air because there's going to be contact left and right that's not going to get called. You have to go up and rip the disc, especially with some of the athletes that we go up against.
Yeah.
You know, who might have a little bit more spring in their step. You got to rip the disc out of the air.
Yeah, I mean – the way he was able to go up off 1 leg and get 2 hands up on that was a great play from Hutton. So now it's 11-7, 4:09 to go here in the second period. The AlleyCats looking to pull away, see if they can get another break opportunity and really start to punish the Revolution here in this first half. There's Kula with it, gets it to Converse. Converse looking, gets it back. So now the Revolution still being patient with it, but we started to see a few of those hucks down the field. They have it in midfield. And that's Knight with it. He's going to look for that forehand. It's knocked down by Loskar. Loskar with the fist pump.
As Rick Gross with the fist pump.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Gross.
They ran right in front of each other. I saw that happen.
So great effort by Gross there, even though I called the wrong name. That's why I have Scott here in the booth with me, making corrections. Here's Carlton. There's Page. Page gets the Loskar. They kind of look the same.
They do. All three of them, actually. Gross, Page, Loskar, all three of them look about the same.
And Loskar's knocked away. He wants the contact, and he gets the call.
Should be goal line.
That was kind of a late call. He's going to step this ahead. He's going to take this right on the goal line, tap this in. And this isn't the easiest position to have it in.
No, it's tough to squeeze it in there. You got to have good spacing, which it looks like they got there. Nate Page coming all the way from the break side. So great cut. You do have offensive sets to try to, when you do get the disc up there, to try to get some kind of continuity, to try to figure out where guys are going to need to be on that. A lot of times that'll come from the handlers, a strike going to the end zone or a dump swing right around there to the break side. But Nate Page came all the way from the break side to the four-side pylon almost, and just a good cut all around.
Najee able to punch that in with the forehand, and it's good to see him back too.
Yep.
He's a guy who always gives you a lot of effort.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys. He will say it himself, fear the beard. So he's a self-promoter kind of hype man. He loves playing the game. He loves being out there.
Yeah, and you need those guys who have that kind of energy, especially on the D-line. So I think he was missed a little bit last week, and you can tell tonight the AlleyCats fully in the flow. 12-7 now, 5-point lead with 2:49 to go.
And this is what I fully expected last week.
Yeah.
For the AlleyCats to come out here and just
you
lay
did
the
curse it
hammer
though,
on
right?
I did.
Yeah, you cursed it, so that's why that didn't happen. So now the Revolution. I'm just kidding, of course, Scott. The Revolution going to take this at midfield, I believe. I'm not sure. What was the call there, Scott?
I believe it was offsides on the AlleyCats.
Okay. So the Revolution going to take this at midfield. I think this is Huffer who has it. Yep, quickly with the forehand. And they're going to look to score here. They need to cut this down to 4. And that's a great throw.
Yeah, Nick Hutton's got to get around on that. Although Nate Body's forehand is very dangerous, it's your job to let that forehand go and to not let the backhand off. And your defender upfield is going to give you the look like, hey, man, you just kind of hung me out to dry letting off that backhand. So I think that was Peter Carlton who was upfield. But yeah, it was a great backhand throw. Great vision by Nate Body to see that Nick Hutton was overplaying and got the backhand off. And that's how easy it is. When you have those offsides, you get the disc at midfield, and a couple throws here, there, and boom, goal.
So that was Nate Body who got that assist. That's his second assist of the night, and Kane Olsen gets his first goal. Number 52 for the Revolution. So they bring it back to a 4-point lead now. The AlleyCats are up 12-6 with 2:41 to go here in the second period, and they're going to see if they can get another score, maybe 2, before the end of the half. And that was a strange pull.
We'll say that slipped.
Yeah. Goes out of bounds. Not very deep on the far side, so the AlleyCats are going to take this ahead of the brick. There's Twan. He's going to get that close to midfield. He's got Hewells on him. And Hewells is a big dude.
Yeah, he gets that body behind his pulls. I'm not sure what happened on that one, but
there's Twan. Dumps it back to Ventura. And Ventura swings it to Twan again. Twan wants that backhand. That's dangerous. Cox goes and gets it, though. Nice play from Cox. And quickly ahead to Plough on the near side here. And Plough finds Brock in the middle. There's Cox immediately to the goal. And there's Twan again with his second goal of the night. Cox with the hat throw. Pumped up about that one.
They've been having to sit back in that zone all night, and he finally got to get out there and run.
So that's Kyle Cox with his first assist of the night, and he gets that one to Twan. Twan has 2 goals and 1 assist to go this evening. So I just want to point out that he has 2 goals and Cameron Brock has 0, and the AlleyCats are up 13-8. So what does that tell us, Scott? Translate that for me.
Well, I know that a couple weeks ago the AlleyCats wanted to be a lot more aggressive with their handlers. You know, they have the throwers and the capability for them to go strike a little bit more, but it's all just with those guys being back there to handle, it just takes a lot of pressure off of somebody like Keenan to be one of the major distributors, and for Cameron to be one of the major goal scorers. So it really opens up things upfield for more guys to be involved.
Yeah, and you've seen Brock several times come up the middle and get throws from the handlers and then turn it. So it's not like he's not active at all. And now here the Revolution coming back the other way. And there's a layout from considerable amount of contact that time.
A lot of contact. Peter Carlton going for the disc.
Yeah, Carlton put the move on that, and Revolution with the man down. We hope he's okay because he really took that one low.
I think it was Peter Carlton underneath and Nick Hutton coming over the top.
It looks like he's looks like he's pointing to his lower leg. So we're going to take a little break here while they sort this out. AlleyCats training staff on the field, give them a look over. 1:56 to go here in the second period. AlleyCats up 13-8, and we will be back. So that was Will Huffer, number 14, who took that blow from Carlton. He gets off the field, so it looks like he's okay. Now Cheek goes over the top of Carlton. Carlton, a machine out there right now. And the AlleyCats with the score. That was Carpenter throwing that to Gross. Gross gets his first goal of the game.
And we do want to note that Peter Carlton, although there was contact, he did get to the disc before he made the contact. So that's why the AlleyCats ended up with the disc starting off. And a great offense there. You don't want to see Peter Carlton and Jason Cheek almost running into each other, but on that hammer throw. But nonetheless, they worked the disc back around to the break side and got a break through. So that was a very, very good offense by the defensive line.
So the AlleyCats with that break go up 14-8. Less than 2 minutes to go here in the second period. And the AlleyCats have the potential to double this up going into halftime. And after what happened last week, it's nice to have this lead.
Yeah, and now that they have Huffer down, they got to find something that's going to work. You know, they need something to stop the bleeding. Just really try to find something that's going to work for them going into halftime to have a shot coming out of the second half. Once you start getting into the 5-6 points, you know, the defense just really starts chopping at the bit because they know that they've gotten a couple breaks, their confidence is up. So Revolution O-line's got to find something that's going to work here.
Yeah, it's good to see the defense working like this tonight. They've had a couple of tough weeks, and tonight they are all over it. So now the Revolution going to try and get one back now before the end of the first half. And there's a big huck, and he's got a man, but Carpenter's on it. Carpenter knocks it away. You're not going to beat him on that.
Travis Carpenter even had time to reposition himself. He felt like this might have ended up going over his head if he stayed on the fourth side. So he came around to the break side and just kind of tapped it away. It's very nonchalant D right there.
It was, but he goes all over body to get that. And with his speed and his timing, you can't put that up on him and expect him not to get that. So here's Broderick, and Carpenter now quickly swings it ahead. And Carlton looking. He needs a man. He's got Najee on the far side. Najee gets it back to Broderick. Forehand ahead to Carpenter. Carpenter.
Oh, great layout.
Oh!
Great
Hutton
layout by
almost
Wetzel.
comes back to get that, though, and not quite able to get there. So now the Revolution back on offense. Molenkamp to Kula. And there's Converse on the far side. He's got a man wide open. That's Wetzel in the corner. So Converse gets his first assist of the night, and Wetzel with his third goal. And what could have pushed that up to 15-8? Now it's 14-9.
Yeah, I mean, essentially ends up being a 2-point swing when you look at it that way. You know, Wetzel with a great layout. You know, Cincinnati, they're not going to give up. They're not going to lay down, and it's great to see that they battled back to get that disc. Certainly, AlleyCats would love to have gotten that break there. Maybe Jared Payne saying, man, I should have called a timeout to get my offense out there. And essentially now he's going to go into halftime without using a timeout. But you know, you're still up by 5 right now. Can't be too upset with anything just yet. You just hope you go into the halftime just saying, hey, let's just keep the pressure on and let's keep doing what we were doing in the first half.
And Carpenter, he's a guy who swings it very quickly. He does not keep the disc in his hands very long. He's very smooth with his rotations, but that time the Revolution able to catch up with it and force the turnover. So now the AlleyCats on offense. Here's Ventura. Gets that flick across to Twan. There's Plu. And he sends a deep one. 5 seconds to go. And it's caught by Hewells. And like we mentioned, he's a big guy. You're not going to get a lot of long throws like that past him in that situation.
Yeah,
so.
The AlleyCats should be happy with, you know, being up 5. Although you would have loved to have scored there, you're very happy that you know, nobody got hurt. On those kind of end of the quarter throws, when it's a 50-50 ball, a jump ball, I call them hospital throws, just because it's so dangerous with that many people. It doesn't even have to be that many people. It doesn't have to be a whole group of people, but just 2 guys going up for a disc. That's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
You never want something like that to happen where somebody comes down on an ankle and rolls an ankle, you know, just for a last-second throw.
So 2 seconds to go, and the Revolution have called a timeout. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do with it in those 2 seconds, but they get the timeout. So we're going to stay with you here, and then we'll carry you through the rest of this first half.
It is, if I understand the rules correctly, and I may have to be corrected by somebody at halftime, in this situation, this might be what they're talking about, is that the clock does not start until the first completion, which is different at the end of the first quarter or the end of the third quarter. It's only going into halftime and the end of the game, to where once the disc is tapped in, the clock does not begin when the disc is tapped in or when the whistle is blown. The clock begins when there's the first completion.
So he's going to tap this in right on their own goal line,
Yep.
and they're going to have to send it the entire length of the field. But I guess that does give them the opportunity to possibly get it up maybe to midfield and turn on it and get it into the goal. So.
Yeah, what they're going to do is the AlleyCats are going to set a double team with DVE and Luke Broderick, and they're absolutely going to do everything they can to get the disc to Nate Body so that Nate Body can put the flick up. He may be one of their only guys who can, you know, with speed, get it 60, because it's going to end up being where he's at. It's going to end up being probably 60, 65-yard throw, and quickly. He's got a very quick turn on it, so we'll see what happens.
We've seen Body have one massive flick down the field that went for a goal earlier in the game.
Yeah, so look for a hammer or a scuba here to go to Nate Body and see what they can do with it there.
And he's on the far side now with the green socks, and there's the hammer over the top, and that's Olsen. He's going to turn, and he gets the flick up. It looks like it's going to be enough distance, and it's caught by Rick Gross. Comes down with it. He goes up against Hewells, and he comes down with that. Great play by Gross, and you were right. 2 seconds to go, and they had it on the goal. So they had the opportunity, so that was a smart play by them. And fortunately, the AlleyCats D able to stop it. So going into halftime now, 14-9, AlleyCats up by 5. And that's where we wanted to see them last week, and it didn't happen. They were down at the end of halftime, or at the end of the first half. Tonight they have a sizable lead, and we'll see if they can keep that lead through the second half. And we're going to take a break and relax for a bit. It's very hot up here in the booth. We're going to go down on the field and get some cool air, and we'll return in 15 minutes for the second half.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Go to discstore.com for Ultimate Discs, jerseys, gloves, and everything Ultimate.
Health Zone Chiropractic. Enter the zone of peak performance and all-around great health. Enjoy the quality of life you and your family deserve. Visit us online at healthzonechiropracticgeist.com. That's healthzonechiropracticgeist.com.
Goshen College students enjoy an amazing success record, and we have some impressive numbers to prove it. But stories of our graduates say even more, like developing a breakthrough antiviral drug for HIV/AIDS, writing #1 hits, being named one of Time Magazine's most influential people in the world for cancer research, and enjoying a broadcast career right out of college. They all started with a real-world education on a campus that makes everyone feel at home. See how the numbers add up and plan a visit at mygoshenhome.com. Goshen College
So we're back live now with you, a live stream media broadcast of tonight's game against the Indianapolis AlleyCats and the Cincinnati Revolution. AlleyCats with a 14-9 lead. Once again, last week I believe they were down by 1, maybe 2 points at halftime. So a big turnaround tonight over that result last week, which is great for the AlleyCats. Like I said earlier, though, you got to give the Revolution a lot of credit. They're a team that they're shorthanded tonight, and they're still fighting. They're missing a lot of guys that they even had last week when they were shorthanded. So, you know, they've been impressive. Now, I have Scott back with me now.
Water break.
Comes running up. So, Scott, 14-9. I was just mentioning that. Definitely a better first half result. Can they keep that going here in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, if Revolution continue to come out and do what they've been doing, if they don't make any halftime adjustments, then yeah, it could certainly get ugly. You know, the Revolution, if they're going to continue to run the zone, they got to find a way to be more aggressive on their wings, or figure out something with their handlers to throw a few more double teams to put more pressure on our handlers, just because just letting them throw it back and forth and working it through your zone is not really going to do anything. There's not enough wind tonight to make a zone very effective, so you have to be more aggressive with your wings or on your handlers. And then offensively, they got to get back to just moving the disc up the field. Certainly Nate Body has the arsenal to put it up, but it's got to be a good throw, and it can't be against Travis Carpenter or Rick Gross on that.
Yeah. You know, as we mentioned too, Revolution are missing Ames and Ford, two guys who really were kind of cogs in the offense last week.
Yeah, they did a great job holding up, and even just at the beginning of the season, I mean, they lost Isaac Jeffries to a knee injury. He was big for them last year on the offense. And then Jordan Ryan moved away. His brother plays for DC Breeze. So there's definitely some guys who they've lost where, you know, they were definitely planning on them being a big part of the team this year. So, and they don't have Phil Churosky here tonight, who's a big-time handler for them. So, you know, just like last week, they were missing big-time players, but just this week they don't seem to have the energy and the fire to compete with the AlleyCats tonight.
And about 30 seconds into the game, in the second half, and the AlleyCats get that first break, and that was Travis Carpenter with a nice play to Lascar.
Yeah, and when you get a break that close to their end zone, you really want to just pick it up and go and just try to put it in. Because once everyone starts noticing that there's a turnover that close to the guys that were upfield and they start moving back to play defense, it gets to be a lot of traffic. So if you can pick that up, put it in on 1 or 2 throws, you want to go for it.
So the AlleyCats able to avoid that congestion, score very quickly, and that was Lascar's second goal of the game, and Carpenter now has 3 assists. So once again, it's great to have him back on that D-line full-time now tonight. And there's the pull from the AlleyCats. And that's going to be scooped by the Revolution. They center it. And there's Body. Wants that forehand. Gets it ahead to Mack. Mack back to Body. There's the effort by Najee. And Kula gets it back to Body. He's open. And with the big forehand, that's smooth. He's got 2 men down there. And there's some contact, and it's knocked away by Carlton.
Goal. And Revolution is going to look for the D there, but I think that's Olsen looking for the foul. But yeah, Peter Carlton, although it hung up, yes, there was contact, but he was fighting for position. So, you know, when you go in there and you claim position, it's very difficult for the referee to try to call a foul on that because, you know, Peter Carlton just muscled his way through there to get position on the disc and made a great play on it.
Yeah, so even when they make contact in that situation, you're allowed to...
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some jostling. I mean, it's just like posting up in basketball, you know, same kind of contact. As long as you're not really knocking anybody down, they're not going to call anything. So
now the AlleyCats looking for their second break of this second half already. And here's Hutton with it. He gets it across midfield to Carpenter. Carpenter gets that backhand down the sidelines. He's got Gross. He's got it. Gross with the layout, diving catch. Carpenter with the assist. And they're looking good so far. 16-9. They punch it up. They're up by 7 now.
He also had Levi Jacobs going deep for him too. So he had 2 options.
So Rick Gross gets his second goal of the game, and Carpenter now with his 4th assist, his second one of the second half already. 2 minutes in, And the AlleyCats have 2 breaks. And you know, Scott, I left my house about a half hour before I came down here, and it was absolutely pouring. And now we have just some perfect conditions for tonight's game. So we've gotten lucky, we've been blessed or something. The ultimate gods have smiled on us tonight.
Welcome to the Midwest. That's yeah. Hopefully, something like this, now that it's already in the second half. I mean, if there's lightning and the game gets canceled for whatever reason, the game would count. Certainly don't want that to happen. You want the AlleyCats to continue to put it on the revolution and really just continue to work on getting better as a team, offensively and defensively. A game like this, you want to go on for a while. That way you can really work up your confidence.
And next week, the AlleyCats are going to travel to Detroit for what technically is the final game of the season on the road. We have some contact here, and that's drum right. Drum right on Hules, and Hules, they're going to mark this ahead.
Should be just a disc space foul. It's going to be 10 yards. Drum right got in a little close on the double team. They've worked real hard on that double team and keeping the right disc space. That way they don't get that free 10 yards.
Yeah.
It is going to run time off the clock, so I don't think that was a strategic move. But the double team definitely working on that disc space is what AlleyCats have been working on quite a bit this year.
So the Revolution cross midfield. There's Kula, gets it to Mosloom. Mosloom wants the forehand. There's Body. Body with a great forehand. And he puts that one over to Mosloom. And Mosloom dumps it back. Here's Kula. Gets his balance. Finds Body. Body smoothly with the forehand ahead. He's got Mosloom again. Revolution being very patient. And as soon as I say that, it's knocked away. There's Haichu, and he's going deep. And looks like that's going to be a little short, but Haichu goes up and unable to come down with it, though.
Great play by Converse.
Yeah, Converse went back to get that. Good effort by him. And he's going to pick this up now. So Haichu was going down the field there, and the AlleyCats wanted him, but maybe a little bit too impatient on that throw.
I think Kyle Cox was hoping to get some contact on his backhand. It was a break throw, so it was very difficult. Put it out the space for Haichu, just kind of hung up on him.
So now Cox on the mark. And Cox on the D line now. Do we see that? We don't see that very often.
No, initially when he came, when we had him for the AlleyCats that first year, he was on the D line. He came out as a D line handler, and he had big throws, forehand, backhand break. We just felt like he might not have been patient enough to be on the O line, and he's really worked his way into that position. Obviously, as a captain, he's filled that position great on the O-line, so he's a great fit. But he can play some defense when he has to.
And those are some fantastic-looking shoes he has on too. So you always want to see him on the field. He should go both ways all night, just because of the pink shoes, so we can look at those. And we have some contact there. The AlleyCats get that. It looks like it's not going to be called. And here's Haichu right on the sideline. It's knocked away. I don't think he would have been able to get that and stay in bounds anyway. Kula's going to take this on the sideline. He's going to be checked by Haichu. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout.
Yeah, injury timeout.
Yeah. And that is number 39, Nick Bisonette. I'm sorry, I haven't called his name, so if I pronounce that wrong, apologies to anyone watching in Cincinnati.
So I believe it's just an injury timeout. It's not going to be a full timeout.
And he's off the sideline, so now it's going to be checked in by Kula.
And just an update on Wetzel, the guy that was injured earlier on the collision with Peter Carlton and Nick Hutton. His quad is he came out just because it was a knee to the quad, so more like a Charlie horse probably. So he is okay as far as.
That's great. I thought that was a knee at first.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to return. We didn't get word on that, but as far as being all right, no broken bones or anything.
So Kula with the hammer, and it's whistled back.
Yeah, it's got to be whistled in by the official,
right,
before he can throw it.
Got a little excited there. He's going to be double teamed here on the sideline. We're waiting. The defense gets set, and he's going to go for that hammer again. Gets this one over the top. That's Converse. He swings it to Mullenkamp. Mullenkamp ahead. That's Moslem with it. He gets it back to Converse. And there's Mack. He goes up to get it on the far side now. Quickly with the forehand. Ew. Almost a turnover, but that was a good effort. He comes down with that one. And Converse puts it ahead to Moslem. Moslem all over the place right now on this point. He's got 2 saves. So now the Revolution threatening. They have it deep in AlleyCat territory. They dump it back. Kula gets it to Mack. Mack ahead to Hules now on the O-line. Here's Body. Body right in the center. He's got Mack. And Mack to Body. Body's going to go.
Great grab.
Fantastic catch by Body that time.
Although that was a great layout by those two, C was real close. There were way too many backhand breaks to really open it up. That allowed them to swing it around. It was a great cut, great strike cut by Nate Body. He went a little more to the back pylon there. That just gave him just enough space to fit it in there.
So the Revolution now cut it to 16 to 10 with 6:06 to go here in the 3rd period, and that was Nate Body's first goal. He's had a couple assists, and I believe that was Eddie Mack who punched that in. So that was a nice throw from him. He put that exactly where it needed to be, and Body went down and got green to get that.
Yeah,
so.
Another missed opportunity for the AlleyCats to get a break. It could be 17 to 9 now instead of 16 to 10. And you really want to see the D-line punch that in. It's just another one of those where it'd be a heartbreaker for the Revolution. But they battled back and played through it and got the goal. And they're still fighting, still chipping away.
Yeah, this is a situation where the offense really has to take over this game and make sure that they're able to score consistently, so that the defense, who's put in a lot of effort and gotten a lot of good breaks, they can get that payoff and don't have to sweat it with a comeback by the Revolution. So Twan, that one floats out of bounds. Twan going to take this now in the center of the field, gets the forehand out, and DVE goes to get that and sends it quickly down the sideline perfectly to Plew. That was a great pass. Plew dumps it back to Ventura. And Ventura centers it to Twan now. Ventura's got Cox. You can always see him. No matter where he is, you can see him. And beautiful throw from Cox right to Plew on the goal line. Plew goes down on the knees to scoop that one right on the goal line. The AlleyCats up now 17 to 10 with 5:41 to go.
And that was definitely a sequence there. Almost looked like a zipper where I think DVE came to the fore side. Joey Carey went to the break side. And Keenan Plew went out deep towards the end zone and came back under. And what that did, that just completely cleared it open for him to get that big, long throw up to the fore side. Probably 30, 40, it's about 30-yard gain. It kind of stalled out there to where they had to dump it back a little bit, but lo and behold, AlleyCats O-line pull it together and work it back upfield and get a nice goal.
Cox with a low throw, and Plew, sometimes he can't go up and get those high ones, but he can go down and get those low ones, right?
Keep it low for him, yeah, that's right.
Perfectly placed from Cox, and I believe that's his 2nd assist of the game, and Plew now has 5 goals. So he's been great in the scoring category tonight. So the Revolution coming back with it now. They get it to Mack on the far side. Kula again in the center. He's been in the center all night. There's Huffer. And Mullenkamp gets it to the middle of the field. Back to Kula. And Huffer to the far sideline. He's got that backhand down the line. And it sails out of bounds. I think Jacobs would have got that anyway. He was on it.
Yeah, luckily the defender wasn't, or the offensive cutter wasn't there, because that was a break throw. Levi Jacobs did a great job covering ground on the break side.
It's great to watch him play. He's a guy who he's got a great deal of energy, very fast. It'll be exciting to see what he develops into. And speaking of exciting developments, that was a fantastic layout. Save, and here's Cheek down the sideline.
Cheek with an awesome throw.
Perfect throw from Cheek. And that's Jacobs with the goal. Well, Cheeks had a couple of those tonight.
Yeah, he got away with that scoober there that Nick Hutton saved him on. So he said, if I can get away with that, I'm gonna get this money back in to Levi Jacobs. So that look was initially there from Rick Gross to Levi Jacobs. Levi Jacobs was given what I call the Randy hand. He's running down the field with a hand up in the air, just saying, "Hey, I'm wide open. You got to throw it to me." So, but Jason Cheek never afraid to put it up. So it was a great throw, great look. You don't get much wide open than that.
So now I believe that is Jacobs' first professional goal. Is that right? I know he had an assist last week.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, yeah. It might be. He was in the stat book last week. I can't remember.
I think he had an assist. He had a really nice D down on the far side and turned it around and had an assist. But I think that's his first goal. I know Triplet had a goal last week. Triplet being the other 18-year-old rookie on the team. And Levi Jacobs, I think, got his first professional goal. So congratulations to him on that. And now the Revolution going to bring it back the other way. And if you can see on the broadcast, there's a drone hovering over the field. It's brought to us by the Cincinnati Revolution. So we might see some footage from that later on in the week on YouTube, which is always very cool. Now Olsen has it, and he gets it back. Gets the forehand up the middle, and that's going to be a great catch by Hewells. And that was Joe Moslem who threw that, I believe, number 38. And Hewells goes up to get that. Good size, and he beats Gross on that play. So the Revolution not going down too easily here. They cut it to 7, 18-11 with 4 minutes to go. That was Alan Hewells' first goal of the game, and he said his name quite a bit tonight, but that's his first marker in the scorebook. But we're going to see him pull here. And last week he punished us with those pulls. He was putting us deep in the end zone every single time, putting the AlleyCats deep.
And that really hurts when you don't have your starting offensive handlers out there. It's one of those things where if you can get somebody that can pull it like that, and still allow your handler defenders to get down there and cover it up, you want to be able to do that as often as possible.
And he gets another good rip out. Sends this one into the end zone as well. And Ventura gets it and sends it right back out. There's a diving effort by Jansen there to try and get that away from Twan. Unsuccessful, though. Now Twan has it again. Looks like they're running a bet.
It'll be another zone look, but Cox with a great, just opens it up big time.
And a perfect throw down the sideline to DVE that time by Cox. And it's great to have Cox back in the game. We missed him last week. Now there's Twan. Twan gets it on the goal line, and Brock has his first goal of the game. So number 3, Cameron Brock, gets his first goal on a short pass from Twan, and that was Twan's second assist. Now the AlleyCats back up by 8, 19-11 with 3:30 to go here in the third period.
Twan really tried to stretch that out. I don't think he knew he was that far away from the end zone, but
he wanted that goal.
Yeah, if he can't get the goal, he might as well mess it up for everybody and let Cam score.
Wonder if that would have been the first game where Brock didn't score a goal.
If Cameron Brock is playing, he typically is scoring, so there's a very good chance that could have potentially been.
So we won't see history made tonight.
No. We'll have our fact checker double check that for us.
Yes, okay. Once we find out who that is.
Yeah.
Our producer, Jonathan Abraham, maybe we can get him to discover that for us.
Let's see what Levi Jacobs can do here on Huffer. There we go,
Jacobs.
Good read.
Oh, Huffer mistimes that a little bit, and Jacobs knocks it away. Looks like Carlton was there as well. So now the AlleyCats with another break opportunity. I'm not sure how many of this is. I really need to keep track of the breaks. That might be a good thing for me to do from now on. And here's Jacobs with it. Gets it back to drum right to the far side, and there's a big flick from Carlton. He's got a man. There's Butler. He goes and gets it. Wow. Right on the goal line, though. Doesn't punch it in. He's looking for a man, and he's,
Lost guard. Oscar with a drop.
And we've seen him do that a few times.
Wearing double gloves.
Yeah, he's got the gloves. I don't want to say there's a reason why he's on the D line, but
but he's gonna do everything he can to get this back here.
Yeah, he usually makes up for it in those situations. We saw that a couple games ago where he dropped one in the end zone and came right back. So now Huffer with it. And the Revolution have it at midfield. And they get it to Wetzel. And Wetzel's back in the game.
Yeah, Wetzel is back, so that's good to see.
Olsen now has that flick into the end zone. He's got a man. He's got two men. And it's going to be Molenkamp who comes down with it.
Yeah, that's an awkward throw. From the four-side flick, I'm not sure if that was meant for Huffer or not, but makes its way to the break side against Spencer Loskar. So
yeah, it looks like he turned that over, but it works. So Molenkamp gets his first goal of the game.
Yeah, Loskar's going to beat himself up for a couple minutes, but that's fine. Beat yourself up for a couple minutes and then wipe it clean. Yeah, wipe it clean and get ready to go back out there and play.
Yeah, in these situations when you make a mistake, you have to accept that it's going to happen because it happens to everyone. And we've seen him do that before. He rarely loses energy due to situations like that.
He's going to get more playing time tonight anyway, so he better get ready to go back out there.
Yeah, you got to have a short memory. And speaking of mistakes, I always pronounce his name wrong anyway, so I really shouldn't be the one to say anything. I constantly call him Loskar instead of Loskar, so apologies for that. But you know what? I keep my head in the game and I go right back out there. So now the AlleyCats come back. Here's DVE with it. And he gets it to Carey, flips it right back to Twan. Twan gets bodied up, gets it back to Carey. Carey's got Plu coming up the middle. And Plu looks downfield. He's got DVE coming up. DVE wants Brock. He's got him. Brock with a big backhand.
Brock wants in this.
Brock. Cameron Brock with a perfect backhand to Carey in the end zone. Wow.
If I'm not going to score, then I'm definitely going to make some throws here. Actually, last year, Cam Brock did a pretty good job of throwing some goals. He was a little more aggressive throwing them. I never, as the head coach last year, I never really had any red light, green lights. It was always kind of, if it's there, take it. You know when the person's open and if you have that throw. And so last year, he was a lot more aggressive on throwing. And this year, I think he has a few more people to throw to him, so he doesn't have to do that as much. So, but he can do it every once in a while. You don't see it very often, but.
So the AlleyCats have an 8-point lead now with 1:31 to go here in the third period. And you know, when you got an 8-point lead or a 7-point lead, I guess at that time, you can get a little bit more confidence. He throws that backhand half the field, and it's perfect, right on the money to Joey Carey. And Cameron Brock has his first assist of the year. I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true, but it might be. We don't know. Last week he had 9 goals and no assists, so he may have a few assists. Definitely haven't seen one that was that long, so that was impressive.
I think he's probably had one where he's just dumped it into the end zone if he's caught on the goal line or whatnot, but certainly with that distance, that's got to be his first one.
So a great save now by the Revolution there on the sideline, and that was Wetzel. Breaking through that injury, he's back on the field, and now Kula. He's got that from Huffer, and that was a good throw by Huffer. He's got his second assist of the game, and Kula has his second goal of the game now.
And with 1 minute left to go in the third quarter, with that D-line, I'd pull them off just to the sideline and just say, hey, let's not lose focus of what we're still trying to build on here. Yeah, we're up 6, 7, 8 points consistently here, but we still want to make them work. We still defensively want to do the right thing while we're out there and still make them work to get those goals. I don't want to say that was an easy score, but they had a couple of wide open throws, and you never want to see that. You never want to see your guy trailing by 10 yards. That just means upfield they're not being as aggressive defensively, keeping their guy from coming underneath. You still want to make them work, whether they have the disc in their hand on the mark or if they're trying to make an undercut or a deep cut. You always want to make them work.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier that the offense, it's on them now to keep scoring consistently and keep that gap, and they've done it so far here in the third period. So they're up by 7 now. We'll see what they can do here with 1 minute to go. And here's Twan, gets it back to Ventura with the low flick to Cox, and Cox bombs one. He's got Plu, but it looks like Plu's going to have to go up and get this, and he does! Keenan Plu Wow.
Goes
up and catches that.
It's definitely a sequence. I saw Keenan Blue and Kyle Cox both going deep at one point, and Kyle Cox broke his cutoff to come underneath, and his marker fell down. I don't know if he bit on the fake, on the forehand fake, and left it wide open for the backhand, but it definitely floated, and there were some Revolution guys closing in quick. So very good to see Keenan Blue go up for that right away, pull it down as quickly as he could.
Yeah, Cox put that right down the middle, but it turned over and went to the far sideline, and looked like Keenan was the only one who was able to read that.
Yeah.
Because there were a couple of Revolution guys down there, and neither one of them could catch up with that or even put a move on it at all, actually. So Keenan Blue, he's on it tonight. 6 goals. And Kyle Cox has his 3rd assist. So here's the pull from Carpenter. Gets it up. And it's going to fade over into the far side. I guess that one across the line. That was a good pull from Carpenter. He's warmed up now. And the Revolution. And that one's knocked away by Broderick.
Yeah, Luke Broderick got a finger on it.
And there's the forehand. It goes to no one. Page is going to let that go. And miscommunication there. The Revolution didn't have anyone downfield.
Yeah. Jared Payne going to call a timeout, bring his offense on. And if the Revolution don't throw a zone here, he might look for a huck sequence. There's still 26 seconds, plenty of time to where if they do run a zone, you got time to work it through. Or if you do set up a huck sequence, if for one reason or another it doesn't work out and it breaks down, you'll still have time to work it up the field and find somebody underneath still and just try to work it.
So 26 seconds to go here in the 3rd period, and the AlleyCats with a healthy lead, 21-13. They're going to try and add to that if they can. This is a team that has had way too many close games, including last week's game. So I think Coach Payne's going to try and get every point he can and turn this into a blowout if at all possible.
Yeah, I mean, with just the way the games have been going these past few weeks, there's still time to work on things, still time to build chemistry, still a learning experience. You always want to learn from every game, and at this point, he's just trying to learn from every point. So, especially with your offense, if you can get in a good huck sequence here, just something to work on timing of it, even if it breaks down, if you can get the timing of the cuts right, that's a win for you. So, hopefully, the offense will score. Defense never likes to get the turnover and then have a timeout call so the offense can come on.
That's right.
They always want that break, but if the offense can go out there and really work on something just to make them that much better and make them that much more dangerous in the future.
Yeah, and heading into the playoffs, there's going to be scenarios like this where you're going to need to try and score, with less than a minute to go.
Yeah, and you do have a few set plays in your pocket where there's less than 30 seconds or less than 10 seconds. So we'll see what they do here. May just start off with a regular hoe stack, but.
So they quickly get it out, and there's Plu. He's got it across midfield. 15 seconds to go. And looking for that forehand, but he has to dump it back. So 10 seconds now. Here's Ventura. He's going to have to put it up.
Oh, don't go out the back, though.
Yeah, looks like it might be a little long. And no. Cameron Brock goes up to get it, but he's out of the goal. So Ventura put it right on the money, just a little bit too long, and that was a great effort from Brock. And it looks like we have a man down. I'm not sure who that is who's slow to get up. And it's an AlleyCat player. It looks like he's okay. So that's the end of the 3rd period. Looks like everybody's healthy. AlleyCats unable to get that score, but they go into the final period up by 8 points, 21-13. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will return for the end of the game.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Go to discstore.com for Ultimate Discs, jerseys, gloves, and everything Ultimate. This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Order a custom Ultimate Disc with no minimum quantity with any design you can imagine. Go to DiscStore.com to get started.
So we're back for the start of the fourth quarter. Once again, AlleyCats up 21-13. Like I said, they have a healthy 8-point lead, and they're going to get the opportunity to add to this now. They're going to get the disc first, starting here in the fourth quarter. So Scott, you get this game, assuming that you're able to hold on to this lead, knock on wood, right there. And then you go to Detroit next week. What's the scenario for that game? What do they do in that game? If you have that that definite spot in the playoffs, you're trying to get positioning there. If they win that, they might still have the opportunity to get that second position, which means they would head out to the East Coast rather than up to Madison.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to play that Detroit game like they would any other game. I think if they get up big, you know, they might start sitting some people here and there to rest them, but you know, they're still going to play their style of offense and their style of defense. You really want to just try to keep that continuity, especially this late into the season.
Yeah.
You know, you would like to be able to rest all your starters or whatnot, and still be able to win, but that may not be the scenario. So they definitely want that second seed. You know, I talked about it last week, going to DC or New York. You know, I think is what they're really pulling for. Yeah. Although they would love to get another shot at Madison, and just, you know, every time they've played Madison, they've lost, and so that does kind of sit in the back of your mind and just eat at you for a little bit. So there is that to kind of look into, but. You know, I think that they would be excited to go to DC to take that second seed and really kind of, you know, be able to pat themselves on the back a little bit and say, hey, we won the second seed outright against, you know, over Chicago.
And as we were talking about that, DVE just absolutely destroys a forehand, and Plu goes up and gets it. And there's Carpenter coming back the other way with the D, and he's playing center field there, and he catches that one. So now a break opportunity for the AlleyCats. Here's Carpenter with it on the far sideline. He's looking for drum right. Instead, he gets it ahead. That's Haichu. Haichu looking to dump. Gets it up over the top.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a dump there, so he had to get rid of it.
Looks like he was looking for Najee initially there, but doesn't quite get it far enough. So the Revolution going to bring this one back. There's Travis Knight.
Almost got it back.
Great effort by Haichu that time. But he's going to get called for the contact on Huffer. That was a good catch by Huffer regardless.
Yeah, at this point in the game, defensively, you still want to, for your defensive offense, you still want it to be smooth. You still want it to be clean. You don't want to have a lot of lazy turnovers. You know, that on that dump, and a great cut off there by Nick Hutton.
Hutton has been all over it tonight.
I talked to him at halftime, and he said, I want you to call my name more on the live stream.
There he is again. Yeah. Nick Hutton with a fantastic catch. He makes the D, and then he gets the reward.
That's what we call bookends right there. You get the D and get the score. But yeah, just going back to it, you really want to see this stay clean. You don't want things to be bobbled or any lazy turnovers. So, you know, every point, you still want there to be a learning situation, learning scenario. So we hope that can continue on.
So Carpenter with a big hammer that time. We always have to mention that it's a hammer because the hammer is such a beautiful thing. Gets his 5th assist, and that was Hutton's 2nd goal to go with 2 assists as well. He's had a couple of great Ds to go along with that. So, you know, he's a guy who always brings the energy, but tonight it just seems like he's really on it.
Yeah, Nick Hutton's been there too. I think we've called a lot of people's names tonight on making some, you know, spectacular plays or just very solid plays. So it's good to spread the love around to everybody tonight.
That's right. And now Revolution bring it, and they're going to turn it over. And that was a great catch by Butler off the tip. And they're going to bring it right back the other way. And this is Broderick. He gets it to Najee. Najee sends it ahead to Carlton. Carlton with a bit of a floater, but it's caught. Now Broderick has it again. Sends one over the top. There's the hammer. It's going to be knocked away by the Revolution. Yeah. Maybe a little bit too aggressive on that throw.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You're working it just fine and dandy left and right.
Yeah.
Take the easy throws. The Revolution are obviously hurting from a stamina standpoint here with only 15 guys. So you have a lot of wide open throws. No need to force that.
Yeah, the AlleyCats up by 10 though, so I guess if you're going to take chances, now is the time to do it. And this is Body. And the Revolution back across midfield. 9:23 to go here in the fourth period of the final home game of the AlleyCats regular season. This has been a good one. There's a flat, sharp hammer. That was a great throw, but
couldn't get the read on it.
Yeah, couldn't quite get up to get that.
And the hammer, it's kind of a catch-22 because I don't want to say catch-22. It's one of those where if it's for a goal, it's a great decision.
Yes.
If it's deed, it's an awful decision. What were you thinking? So it's one of those where you got to be conscious of what the situation is.
Yeah, usually you see those float a little bit more than that one. He put that one down hard, and it just rises too much. And there's a great perfect catch by Nate Page. Goes up amongst two defenders.
And a beautiful backhand by Luke Broderick. Didn't have a mark. Was able to put it out there, just kind of put it on a shelf and let Nate Page run onto it.
So Nate Page has his second goal tonight. His last goal was also a great effort. He's been able to get under a couple of them. And that was Luke Broderick's first assist. So Broderick atones for the overly aggressive throw that we called on the last play. And again, very aggressive with that throw, but that time it worked.
Yeah, and he's a guy who was pretty much injured all last year. We had a lot of high hopes for him on the D-line, just specifically for those reasons there. I mean, he can put the hammer there. Obviously he just got beat up. It was a great play by the defender, but on that backhand, he's got such a smooth backhand. He's got a really smooth forehand. Typically makes the right decision. Maybe that's why he is on the D-line and not the O-line, just because he does, kind of mess up here or there. But it's great to see him healthy this year. Really, really good to see him out there playing well.
So the Revolution bring it, and this is Travis Knight. Now he gets it ahead, and Converse. And we have a whistle. Looks like we have a timeout, I believe. Yes, I think the Revolution are going to. Oh, a lightning timeout. Okay, so apparently we have lightning in the area, and they're going to stop the game briefly. It's not raining here, but we have seen some flashes up amongst the clouds.
Welcome to the Midwest.
That's right, yeah. The weather changes very frequently. So now the AlleyCats with an 11-point lead, 8:21 to go here in the fourth period. Obviously, if this game does get called, it will count as a win for the AlleyCats. We'd hate to see that, though, here in our final broadcast. We're going to take a quick break and try and sort out what's going to happen here at the end of the game. Might only be a brief delay. We've had a lot of weather systems that have been moving through the area very quickly, so we could be down only 15 minutes or so. But we're gonna step away, and we will hopefully return with the end of the fourth quarter.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Go to DiscStore.com for Ultimate Discs, jerseys, gloves, and everything Ultimate.
So we just got word from our man Jason Cheek. Came up here in the booth and told us that the players are going to head to the locker room for 20 minutes while we hopefully wait for this system to pass. And then I'm assuming we'll be able to finish the game at that point. 8:21 to go here in the fourth period. We're going to be back, I think, in 20 minutes, hopefully. If not, then, yeah, I guess that's going to be it. So it'd be a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully that doesn't happen. So we will return in 20 minutes with the end of the game. So we're back with you now for the end of the fourth quarter after a 20-minute lightning delay. We have restarted the game. About 8 minutes to go here in the fourth period. AlleyCats up 24-13. Thank you to anyone who has stuck around through the delay. We're back with our man Scott O'Brien and the AlleyCats with the disc. And they get the break right away. Here's Loskar. Gets it to Hutton. Hutton, that's Butler now with it. And he dumps it back. And
no foul.
No foul there on Carlton. Carlton went down. And now we have a whistle.
Late call.
We have a late call that time. Carlton's going to step this ahead. Now he's going to check this in. And that's Mack on the mark. Gets it to head to Butler on the far side. Carpenter looking for a man. He gets it back. Now Carlton ahead to Loskar, who goes down to get it.
Without the gloves.
Yes, no gloves, and he catches that one. And he throws a dime into the end zone.
Nice.
That was Daniel Butler. Goes out to get that one. Right on the sideline. I'm not sure how close that was, but it looked like he was right on the sideline.
I did talk with Loskar right there on the lightning delay and asked if he was going to take the gloves off. And he said yes, he was going to play without them. So.
And it works. So we'll give credit to Scott O'Brien for that goal.
Can't take that one, no.
Loskar gets his second assist of the night to go with 2 goals. And Daniel Butler gets his first mark on the scoreboard. So the AlleyCats up 12 now. 7 minutes exactly to go here in the fourth period.
I did talk with Jared Payne at halftime, or again on that lightning delay. And if the AlleyCats win out, and they do open this up a little bit more as far as point diff, there is a very, very outside chance that the AlleyCats could have a home game in the second seed against Washington or New York, as their point diff is slightly better than ours. Those two teams, their point diff is slightly better than ours right now, but there is an outside chance with this game, and depending on how well we do against Detroit and Minnesota, that we could potentially get a home game as a second seed.
So now we know exactly why he called that timeout at the end of the first half and was trying to get that goal.
Right.
So here's Olsen with it, and he dumps it back. Very dangerous throw. Body nonchalantly catches it and throws the hammer. Perfect strike to the end zone. And Body with that big hammer. And that's Molenkamp who comes down with it. So that differential goes down by 1. Now the AlleyCats only up by 11. 6:20 to go here in the fourth period.
Thanks to a $100 anonymous donation to the Levi Jacobs Fund, that will bring our night's total.
So Nate Body with his 3rd assist of the night. Molenkamp gets his 2nd goal. And we're going to have the poll from Hules now. The AlleyCats will be going from right to left. See if they can push this back up by 12. Had a good portion of the crowd stick around for that lightning delay. And, you know, it's actually a beautiful night here.
So it is, yeah, absolutely.
As we were away, we were just looking at the sky, and right over the stadium, it is perfect. So, not entirely sure where the lightning was coming from, but we're back in action now. And Twan.
Oh, Cameron Brock. Oh, it's a good double team. Cameron Brock was streaking deep. And Kyle Cox, luckily they threw a double team, or else that would have been an easy goal.
And that was Carey. He gets it to the far side to Plew. Plew finds Cameron that time. And Cameron, the quick forehand, he's got Carey again. That Cameron Brock to Joey Carey connection is working tonight.
Just not expecting him to throw, so you know, it might get to the point to where defensive players might just force Cameron Brock underneath to prevent him from going deep and scoring. And you know, he certainly has the potential to throw, as I alluded to earlier in the show. Not really known for it, but he is comfortable with probably a 30, 35-yard throw upfield. Usually not a problem for him.
So we saw the backhand earlier. That time he puts out the forehand. It looks just as smooth.
Yep.
We might be seeing a new dimension from Cameron Brock. You know, maybe he's not meant to be on on that end of the field. You might need to be in the back next year.
I think we have plenty of throwers. I would love to see his defensive side really step up. That's what I would like to see him work on.
So Cameron Brock now has more assists than goals tonight, which is probably the first time that's ever happened. So we might see a little bit of history made tonight. And the Revolution bringing it back the other way. Down by 12. Playing for pride at this point. They have a big game against Chicago tomorrow night. Big game for the AlleyCats, that is. Because if they can beat Chicago, as unlikely as that might be under the circumstances where they're missing so many players, then that gives the AlleyCats the opportunity to possibly get that second seed. So here's Olsen, and he gets it back to Kula. And there's Molenkamp, and it's knocked away. And we're going to get a call on Gross that time. I'm not sure about that one.
I think he had to come over the shoulder to get it. I'm very surprised to see that he even came out with the disc. But, yeah, definitely some contact. You know, we'll allow that, as far as the call, we'll allow that to stand.
And again, that's not really a beforehand, and Olsen unable to get that. I think that was Body who threw that. He had his hands on his head. He probably wants that one back.
Yeah, that was his flick. He just didn't put enough air underneath it, and it just took off on him.
So the AlleyCats will tap this in on their own goal. And that's Hutton with it. And he's had a great night. He gets it ahead to Laskar. Laskar on the far side now, checked by Body. Najee now. He flips it ahead. They swing it to Jacobs. Jacobs rolls one. Looks like there was contact on that throw.
He's wiping his fingers. Either Huffer got a foot on it, or it just
looked like Huffer might have got a finger on that one. I don't think it would have come out that dirty.
He definitely had a wide open cutter, so it would have been a great play had it been converted.
You know, and the difference between playing against high school defenders and playing in the pros has got to be fairly significant.
Yeah, I mean, when he goes and plays in high school, he pretty much do whatever he wants out there. Here, he definitely has some smarter players that he's going up against, guys who are just bigger physically and who are going to be more aggressive as far as putting a body on you if he's got a cut. You know, better marks, just better fundamentals all around. So
guys who are going to be able to anticipate what throws you're going to try and make.
Right, yeah. So great play by Laskar.
Laskar knocks it away, tries to go down and get it. He's got the D, though. I think he wanted that interception. Now Broderick straight to the backhand, and it's deep. And Jacobs goes out and gets it, and he's got the goal. So it looked like he mistimed that a little bit at first, but he put the effort in and went back and got it.
Luke Broderick could have taken a little mustard off of that one for him. Made it a little bit easier on him.
So Luke Broderick gets his second assist, and that's Levi Jacobs' second goal of the night. And the AlleyCats with the break, and they push it back up to 13 with 3 minutes to go here in the fourth. So this is a big weekend for disc sports in Indianapolis. Tonight, the final home game, fan appreciation night here at Kuntz Stadium with the AlleyCats. And then tomorrow and Sunday is Indianapolis's biggest disc golf tournament, the Checkered Flag Open. I just want to mention that for my friends who are big disc golfers.
What course are they playing that at?
They're playing Brookside.
Brookside?
Yeah, they've made a lot of changes to that too. It's gotten tough. Well, not that it wasn't tough before, but it's brutal. I played it this morning, and yeah, it's gotten worse. And by worse, I mean better, of course. So now the Revolution coming back, just under 3 minutes to go, and that's knocked away. And we're gonna have contact on that. It looked like Mack had his hands up before that was even thrown.
You'll notice Kyle Cox out there playing defense and Keenan Plough out there playing defense. So you hope that they can just go out there and contain the guys that they're guarding. No injuries, anything like that. Just run out there, make them work hard, and you've done your job.
So the Revolution tap it in, they bring it to the near side, and there's more contact. And that was I think it was Moslem, number 38. He's going to step that ahead 10 yards.
Travis Carpenter just short of the layout there.
And, you know, I want to make a correction. Now we see Kyle Cox on the mark. I've been talking about his pink shoes all night, and those aren't actually pink shoes. That's pink tape holding his shoes together because they're practically destroyed. So apologies to Kyle Cox for my incorrectness there. But hopefully, you know what? Maybe this will inspire him to get some actual pink cleats because clearly he needs some new cleats. We might need a cleat fund for Kyle Cox.
I think between playoffs coming up and club coming up, he probably needs to invest in a new pair of cleats soon to at least start breaking them in.
So the Revolution able to score and cut that back to 12. Less than 2 minutes to go here in the fourth period. And the AlleyCats, like we mentioned, they're trying to put points on the board because every point can have playoff implications here.
Yeah, and hopefully the Revolution will understand what the AlleyCats are trying to do. We are, but we aren't trying to run up the score. I know that sounds bad.
Right.
But it's solely just for point diff to try to get a home game for playoffs for the second seed. You know, we understand the Revolution are down guys, and at this point, you'd probably just be happy, you know, with another score or two and just running out the clock. But you know, unfortunately, it's just against the Revolution tonight. If this was against anybody else, we'd be doing the same thing.
You haven't gotten any text from Mike Ames.
No, not tonight.
Mentioning that, so maybe that means that they understand. Here's DVE, goes deep, and there's Plu again. DVE puts another one right on the money. Keenan Plu with his 8th goal of the night. So we need to get Keenan Plu one more goal so that he has 9 goals to go with the 9 assists that he had last week with no goals. He's completely turned his game around in the course of 1 week. And David Valentine Elam, DVE, now has his 4th assist of the night, so that's a good night's work for him as well.
Yeah, having him back, and I'm still not sure if his shoulder is 100%. You know, it's obviously pretty good, even given last week, the game that he had last week. So
was it his throwing shoulder that was?
I believe it was. Yeah. So it's great to have him back. You know, that way we can just have our full offense out there and really show what they're capable of.
So this is picked up by Kula. And that's Jeff Kula. And that's saved by Converse. Looked like he was playing that to Kula, but it sailed, but Converse went and got it. And they get it ahead to Moslem. Moslem has to dump it. And Kula with the double team puts it out quickly. Revolution have it on the far side. Moslem quickly recycles. They get it across midfield. That's Wetzel on the far side, I believe. And gets that backhand out. Looks like it's going to sail. So the AlleyCats, less than a minute to go here, and they do have one more break opportunity. And are we going to get a timeout from Coach Payne here? He's going to let the clock run.
Yeah, he's still got to pick up the disc and at least tap it in.
That's Najee who's going to tap this in. Number 36, he gets it ahead to Page. And now it looks like they're just going to try and play this out if they can. Less than 30 seconds to go, and this is a big win for the AlleyCats. Big confidence boost, I think, for the D especially. D-line really came to play tonight. And there's the bomb, and that's Butler. He's got good size. He's going to go get that. And he does. Times that perfectly. Daniel Butler comes down with that. I'm not sure who put that up. Who put that up?
Luke Broderick.
Luke Broderick. We've seen him throw quite a few long ones tonight. He gets that one out.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to hang that one up, but you know, same result. Still looks good in the stat book.
I think he knew who he had.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to say that he knew he had Butler with a size advantage in the end zone.
It was definitely a break throw, so you know, he got the defender to bite on the flick. And you know, when you have that break window open up, you try to get it off relatively quickly, so that way the defender can't recover from it.
So 9 seconds to go. That puts the AlleyCats up by 14 points, 29-15 here in the fourth. And it looks like we have a timeout, but we're going to stay with you here. While we have this timeout, I'm going to go ahead and read some stats. Keenan Plew has 8 goals. Rick Gross with 2 goals. Cameron Brock with 1 goal and 2 assists. Again, a little bit of history made right there, I think. David Valentine Gillen with 4 assists. Joey Carey with 2 goals and 3 assists. Good night from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Levi Jacobs with his first 2 professional goals, I believe. Luke Broderick with 3 assists. Spencer Lascar with 2 goals and 2 assists. Nick Hutton with 2 goals and 2 assists. Peter Carlton with 1 goal. Kyle Cox with 1 goal and 3 assists. Daniel Butler with 2 goals. Stephen Nagy with the 1 assist. Travis Carpenter has been a little bit quiet here in the second half, but he did have 1 goal and 5 assists. Antoine with 2 goals and 2 assists. Brian Ventura with 1 goal. Nathan Page with 2 goals. And Jason Cheek with 2 assists. Boy, if you have 29 points, that's a lot of stats to read off.
Yeah, that's spreading the love around quite a bit.
So as I said earlier, this is the final home game for the AlleyCats, and this is going to be our last broadcast, at least for Scott and I believe. We are going to have probably a broadcast from Livestream Media with our producer, Jonathan Abraham, doing all of the work in the first playoff game, hopefully, which will be July 19th, I believe. So we will be able to watch that live. Thanks to the efforts of Jonathan Abraham. And, of course, all of this is brought to you almost entirely by Jonathan Abraham.
Yeah.
So we want to thank him before the end of this game for all the work that he's done all year, the travel that he's done, the opportunity that he's given to Scott and I to sit here and talk, because we both enjoy doing that, obviously. And we also want to thank the team, too, for the opportunity. And, of course, livestreammedia.com. As well as discstore.com, another one of our big sponsors. So here are the final seconds, 9.8 seconds to go, and the Revolution get this in, and they're going to look to get one more score. And, final play of the game, Rick Gross with a beautiful D. And he runs the clock out, and that's a great way to end the game. Great way to end the game, great way to end the home season for the AlleyCats. Fantastic layout D from Rick Gross. You know what? That 1 point could mean something.
Yeah. That's huge. I mean, 14 points for a point diff. Certainly it will shoot you up the ladder. We'll just have to see how things continue to play out in Detroit. If this same team shows up and plays against Detroit, I know that they have to travel up to Detroit. I'm sure they'll probably miss a few guys because of the road. Because it's a road game, but they can certainly put up some numbers against Detroit, and it could we can keep moving up the ladder that way for point diff.
And that game against Detroit will be streamed by Detroit's crew, so you can check out their website and watch that game live. I think that's next Saturday.
Yep.
And then possibly on that Sunday, there will be a game against a makeup game against the Minnesota Wind Chill.
Right.
And there's an off chance that Jonathan may be available for that game. I'm sorry, that would be the week after. I thought that would be a back-to-back, but the game against the Wind Chill would be in what would have been the off week, I think, before the playoffs started.
That's correct. Stat checker. It's good.
Okay, that was our man Jonathan Abraham correcting us as always. So once again, thank you to him, thank you to Scott, thank you to Josh Fairchild who does all the intros for us, and you can hear him in the background. He does a great job on the PA. Thank you to all our fans and everybody who shows up to the games, and those of you who are unable to make the games on occasion, who check in and listen to us talk. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next season.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, man.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Yep. Thanks, Bird.
Good night, everyone.
Reppin' for them AlleyCats. I-N-D-Y, we reppin' for the nap. I-N-D-Y, reppin' for them AlleyCats. I-N-D-Y, we reppin' for the nap. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Who are you, me? Well, I'm a super AlleyCat. Check the highlights if you wanna see the stats. Yeah.
This game is sponsored by Disc Store. Go to discstore.com for ultimate discs, jerseys, gloves, and everything ultimate.
Health Zone Chiropractic. Enter the zone of peak performance and all-around great health. Enjoy the quality of life you and your family deserve. Visit us online at healthzonechiropracticgeist.com. That's healthzonechiropracticgeist.com.
College. Everyone's at home here. Students from around the world and down the street find inspiration and lifelong friends in our unique, supportive community right here in Northern Indiana. Cutting-edge academics, real-world learning, and small, personalized classes make the difference, all surrounded by world-class culture and championship sports. Most importantly, it all leads to a record of amazing outcomes in diverse fields of study, from pre-med to social work, broadcasting to accounting. You're going to feel at home on our campus. Visit us at mygoshenhome.com. Goshen College.